What if the best marketing move you could make this week was easy, free, required zero social media, and is hiding right under your nose? Today, I want to share one of the simplest but most powerful business concepts that I return to time and time again, especially when I want more clients, more opportunities, or really just more momentum without doing a ton more marketing. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to create more awareness, more referrals, and more traction by asking one simple question: do they know what I know? Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants get clear on how to talk about what you do, simplify your offers, and have more fun in your business and beyond. I'm Annie Franceschi, brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. I'm here to help you clarify your message, package your expertise, and streamline your systems to grow a business you actually enjoy. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. I'm so glad it's finally warming up and spring is underway. And I know many of us start off the year with big goals and we're out there trying to make the algorithm work and posting a lot. And, then you get to Q2 and you're like, is this working? Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap. And I think this is a perfect natural moment to be wondering and working on how am I going to get more clients this year, more conversations, more opportunities. And I think when you want those things, we can feel pressure to put out the social media post or create this really complicated marketing funnel. But quite honestly, what I have learned in almost 13 years of business is the best thing you could possibly be doing to create more momentum is staring you in the face. It is the simple but important reality. The people in your world probably have no idea what is new with you. I make this same mistake too. I think all of us, we work on things. We're constantly adding new services, new lead magnets, new elements of what we're doing. Maybe we're shifting our audience, we pouring our heart into this. But how many people do we really tell that we're doing that? How many people's radar are we on? Are we staying top of mind with the people we know? We just sort of make this assumption, well, people know. People know. I've mentioned it a few times. But when you really stop to think about it, well, how many people really know? Like you probably don't know what's new with most of the people in your network either. I mean, let's be honest, your best friend probably doesn't even really know what you do, let alone what's new in your business or what has changed in the past 3 to 6 months. So that is the heart of today's episode. So many of us, and me included, work on our businesses all the time, and we just assume that everybody knows what's going on because we're just living it so much, especially if maybe we've been sharing on LinkedIn or we have been doing some marketing because we think about this stuff all the time. But the reality is, people are not thinking about your business nearly as much as you think they are. So, why do we assume that everybody else is somehow fully caught up on our latest offer, our newest service, the types of clients we're looking for, the projects we're excited about, or the new direction we're moving in? We make this assumption that they know all of that and they're just not calling us up. They're not sending us clients. They're not inviting us to speak. But they're not. They don't know. And that's why this matters. So I want to teach you a concept today that I call, do they know what I know? This comes from my best-selling book, Establish Yourself, and it's rooted in something really simple and really human. We assume awareness where there really actually isn't any. We know what we've been building, what's changed, what we're proud of, what we want more people to know, but the other people in our lives and our networks, they have zippo idea. And this is where a lot of the missed opportunities happen. Because how many times have you created a new workshop or a course or a service and then just promoted it for a couple days and watched it flop? And when something doesn't get traction, we often assume that the problem is the offer is wrong or the message is wrong, the market is wrong. We need to do some advanced marketing strategy. Sometimes parts of that are true or all of it is. But other times, and more often than we think, awareness is our biggest bottleneck. People don't know what's new. They're not experts on you. Even the people you see a lot at your networking group, they don't know exactly what you offer. They don't know how you help. They don't know who you want to be connected to. They don't know what you're available for. And if people don't know, they can't support you. They can't refer you or hire you or send amazing opportunities your way. And so I want us to be thinking about this as powerful, low hanging fruit. Because, yeah, you can go spend hours on marketing, but too often we simply forget to let people know what it is we're up to. And that counts too. And that is some of the best possible marketing you can do today, this week. That is still marketing. And it doesn't depend on an algorithm. So here's the core idea I want you to walk away with today. Before you go work harder on your social media, on your marketing, ask yourself, do the people in my world really actually deeply know what I know about my business right now? Do they know what my primary service is, who my ideal clients currently are, what my new offer or program is about? Do they know about my freebie or my lead magnet, the workshop book or training that I have put together, the project that I've been working on behind the scenes, the direction that I want to go next? Because sharing this, the awareness is going to create opportunity. And I'm not saying a giant campaign or a fancy tactic or an app or overthinking what to say, simply reaching out. I want you to think about this as picking up the phone, sending the email, sending a text. And I want to be really clear about how to frame this kind of an outreach because it matters a lot. I want you to reach out to the people you know in your network and not send a message like, hey, here's my new thing. Do you want to buy it? I'm not pitching that. I'm not saying that. This is not a pitch. That's not the vibe. What I am talking about is a short update. It's simply just, hey, what's new? Letting them know what you're excited about, what you're building, what's changed, what you're available for, what you want more people to know. That's it. So instead of writing something or saying something that feels heavy or salesy, you can sound more like, hey, I wanted to share a quick update on what's new in my world. Or, oh, hey, I realized I hadn't told you about something that I've been working on that I'm excited about. Or, I wanted to keep you in the loop about a new direction in my business. One of my favorite little reframes you can put right in front of this too is to say something like, hey, I'm trying to be better about letting people know what I'm working on. I'm not good about sharing updates. That invites the softness of, hey, this is communication. This is sharing. This isn't a pitch, right? That's a very different kind of energy. All of this is meant to be personal, warm, relational. It's not a giant pitch, just a simple update. And honestly, that is why I swear by it. That is why I will turn to it time and time again over the many years of my business. And I want to encourage you that whether you talk to someone or you text them or you email them, this is not about a one-way communication. It's not just sending your update and leaving it there. You want to turn the conversation to them as well. So we keep it short, we keep it sweet, we share about one or two new things. And then we want to turn to them and say, I would love to know what's new in your world. What are you excited about right now? What are you building in this season? Is there anything you want me or other people to know more about? Because everything I'm teaching you today, do they know what I know? That's a relationship move. It's not a broadcast, it's not a sale, it's not a hard sell. It's about building relationships. So, this is an opportunity for you to create more awareness, but you're also creating community and inviting someone else to share what's new with them because you do want to support them. You want to stay in real connection with people. You want it to feel mutual, not transactional. So, if you haven't sent notes like this because you're worried about it being a broadcast, take heart because this is your opportunity to reawaken a relationship in your life or keep deepening and nurturing one. You're not saying, here's my thing. You're saying, I want to keep you in the loop and I care about what's happening in your world too. That's where the magic is. That's how your relationships deepen. And that's how people remember you in a good way and keep you top of mind. And I know sometimes we don't share updates because we think, well, this isn't big enough or this is boring or surely everybody knows this. But I would be willing to bet that most people don't. What counts as new is much broader than you think. Yes, you might have a new offer or service or a workshop or a resource, but you also may have been making some tweaks or changes. Like maybe your ideal client's a little different, or you really loved a particular kind of client you were working with, or you have a new project that you're putting together, or you've introduced a new speaking topic. or you have a future direction you want to grow into. When you start to share these things, people get excited and see opportunities in their networks to maybe make introductions or resources they can send you. For me, this can look like letting people know that I am interested in growing into doing clean corporate comedy, doing stand up comedy for corporate events. I've talked about it a little bit on the podcast. I just put out a Facebook message about it. And I could tell myself a story of, okay, you've mentioned it twice, like you don't have to mention it again because everyone knows. But y'all, I'm telling you, everyone does not know. And I am working on this. And one of my next steps in the next few months will be to send personal reach outs to people, probably in particular my friends who are speakers, to let them know that I'm growing into this side of speaking, right? Because they're the people who are going to hear about opportunities. But I can't assume that they saw my Facebook post or that they even listened to the podcast, right? We don't want to make those assumptions. And it's not about things you've never said anything about, it's things you want to prioritize. And that's a good example of something that I want to grow into. Something else that I am being intentional about sharing with people is whether I'm in person with them or talking to them in calls. I like mentioning the things I'm most excited about, like how much I loved leading a group of business owners down to Walt Disney World for the Make More Magic retreat. When I talk about that and say what a good time I had, it puts it on the radar of the person I'm talking to. Oh, wow, she does retreats at Disney World. I just had this as a conversation with someone recently, and she said, "That sounds incredible. Can you put me on the list?" Yes, absolutely, I can. This is how these opportunities happen without the algorithm, without creating technology and funnels and all of this stuff. It's building this muscle to be willing to share a little bit about you. I know so many of the coaches and consultants I work with really want to shine a light on their clients, and I get that. And so they sort of take this role of, I don't want to share about myself, that's self promotional. But how are you going to coach and consult for more people if they don't know, like, and trust you? If they don't know how to work with you, it starts with building this muscle of sharing in authentic ways. So I really want to encourage you, whether it is a dream, like for me, it is expanding into corporate comedy or something you've already done in the past, but you are excited about. Please talk about these things, share them intentionally with your network. And I'm going to give you a challenge to do just that this week. So I want you to take 15 to 30 minutes sometime this week, maybe after you listen to this episode. And I want you to think about what it is you haven't shared with the core people in your network or what you are not 110% sure that they know. I want you to pick one key thing you want to make sure more people know about, and then pick one group. So that group might be your referral partners, your current clients, your past clients, people who are on your LinkedIn network, your email list, your friends and family. And then I want you to reach out to at least 10 people in that group individually, sincerely, personally. Send a short email or a text. Bring it up in your next coffee chat. Pick up the phone. Send a voice note if that's something that feels natural. But just keep it simple. A short update, and then ask them what's new with them too. That's it. No pitch, no funnel, no perfectly polished asset required. Just conversation. This is some of the best low hanging fruit in business. It is free, it is easy, and it doesn't take a lot of time. Every single time I revisit this practice, it creates awareness that generates clients, opportunities, and more than anything, strengthens the relationships that I have. It helps me to support the people I care about and for me to share in that, to be a part of that community. Because when you offer something of value and you can help someone else in their network or help them, everybody wins. With that in mind, I know you're on board for this challenge, and I want to give you one other thing that you want to make sure you do as part of it, which is when you are done reaching out to the 10 people, I want you to commit to making this a regular system in your business. Don't do this as a one time activity. Revisit it every 3 to 6 months. Put a calendar invite in your calendar, a recurring task in your task manager. Do this again in 3 months. Have it come up every 90 days to say, do they know what I know? Right? To do this same exercise every single quarter because there's always going to be something new people would like to know about or would find value in knowing about. But they're only going to hear about it if you tell them. So come back to the pin in your calendar at the start of the new quarter. Next, I'll see you again in Q3. What's new? What other marketing move could you make that keeps your network aware, your relationships warm, and your opportunities moving? And all in a way that makes you feel so human and good about helping everyone move the needle forward. So good, right? So if you've been listening to today and thinking, okay, I love this, but I do not feel super confident reaching out to people. I don't feel clear enough yet on what it is I want people to know. Then I do want to share something that could really help. This week is the last opportunity to apply for Package Your Process Accelerator. This is my 5-week group program happening May 6th through June 3rd. And it is for people who want to go from unclear on how to talk about their latest offer or even their business more broadly to being able to confidently present and share what they do. Because sometimes the reason we're not telling people what's new is not that we're lazy or inconsistent, it's that we still feel really fuzzy and unsure on how to explain it. That's exactly what I personally help you do in this program. By week 5, you are confidently talking about your offer, sharing it with others, and putting it into real conversations in a way that feels natural. This is a small, intimate cohort experience, and applications are open now until this Friday, April 24th. So if that sounds supportive to you, head on over to greateststorycreative.com/PYP. There's also a link in the show notes and apply now. It's free, takes about 3 minutes, and I personally respond to every application. All right, let's recap. First, do not assume that people know what you know. They probably don't know what's new in your business unless you've told them very clearly, very recently. Second, a short personal update can be powerful, effective marketing. It doesn't need to be a pitch, it can simply be a warm, genuine way of keeping people in the loop. Third, make it relational. Let them know what's new with you and ask them what's new with them too. And fourth, take action this week. Pick one thing, one group, reach out to 10 people personally, and then see what happens. I have a hunch you may be surprised by the opportunities that show up from these very simple awareness actions. Hey, do you like surprises? The credits are about to roll, but just like a Marvel movie, stick around to the end for something I put in just for you. Thanks for listening to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and if you're enjoying the show, it would mean so much to me if you follow it, leave a quick rating, or share it with a friend. And for free branding resources and more ways to work together, head to greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now here it is, your moment of magic. Recently on April 9th, I got a once in a lifetime opportunity to do a stand-up comedy set on the main stage at Goodnight's Comedy Club. Y'all, like last September, I put my bucket list together and the first thing on it was try stand-up comedy. So it is wild that just months later, I was not only trying it, I was doing it on the main stage of the top comedy club in North Carolina. And I don't mean to make that sound like it was so easy. There were so many twists and turns along the way, and I put a lot of time and effort into making that happen. And I've had a lot of dreams that didn't happen so quickly or never happened at all, quite frankly. But it reminded me of something that I think is really true in life, but also in business. It's like basketball, which I am terrible at, but you're never going to get better at it until you show up to practice, you know? And every single time, you are not in charge of whether or not the ball goes in the net. All you have control over is showing up and shooting your shot. So here's to doing that. Here's to the possibility that some really beautiful bucket list dreams come your way simply just because you are shooting your shot.